Willie Parker. That was basically it. And then they lost the Super Bowl against Aaron Rodgers. They beat Arizona, but where was that game? That was in Tampa, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And that was all big. That was the Big Ben and San Antonio home show.
That's the one.
And you get a lot of clout when you bring home 2 rings. Ask Tom Coughlin about that, but I don't know. And the Steelers only have 4 head coaches in their history, and they are one of the original franchises, and so they don't like to jump ship quickly. But it's a different game nowadays. It's very much a what have you done for me lately,
right?
Sort of deal.
I mean, yeah, and we bring it up all the time. This need for immediate gratification amongst just society in general these days, and you have to. I'm sure that the Steeler fan base would ensure the seats stayed filled. I would assume, but if they didn't, and that started becoming a problem, I would imagine that that's when it might get ugly for Mike.
Well, it might be a tough decision, especially if the Pirates are playing the playoff game on the same night as the Steelers.
Oops.
About that. So what coaches do you think are on the hot seat and will be fired at the end of the season? It's always a fun little exercise since we love head coaching turnover.
Well, definitely you've got to worry about Rex. Sexy Rexy.
Poor Rex.
He's not in a good spot, and he's not really doing much. So I had a little hope for them. Like I said, the beginning of that Broncos game, I happened to catch the first quarter, and the Jets looked like they were going to kill Peyton Manning. And I didn't really want Peyton Manning to die, but, to torture him a little bit during the game would have been fun. It went on for a quarter, and then it ended. Peyton Manning figured it out.
So one thing with Rex is that he'll always have a pass rush.
Yep, exactly.
And when he's a defensive coordinator next year, he will always have a pass rush. Even though when Rex gets fired, because I think that's a foregone conclusion, because the Jets are going to end up 3-30 at best. And not entirely his fault because Izek gave him garbage to work with, especially cornerbacks. But I think Rex would be phenomenal on TV.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yes.
If Gruden somehow goes back to the booth, or not to the booth, back to the sideline coaching the, Raiders, who he seems to have a soft spot for some God knows reason. Rex and Tirico. I think Rex would be very good at Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Rex is entertaining. Now, I don't know if his shtick would grow old. Like Gruden, he says the same things over and over, but he manages to keep it fresh.
This guy, man, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
And he'll say that about half of the quarterbacks in the league. But he's so effusive.
See, Gruden has to stay positive because he's still in the market for jobs. Because you notice with Madden, once he walked away from the Raiders, he was basically done. So he could just say whatever he wants because he wasn't shopping around. He wasn't afraid to offend someone who could be a potential future employer. So he, at one point, he was just like,
yeah.
That's my Madden impression.
That was beautiful. That was a good Madden impression. Marble mouth.
And see, I love that when former coaches become analysts, get to that point. Like Steve Mariucci, Bill Belichick are at that point where they can stop with all the niceties and actually say what's on their mind. Because they've gotten to that point now. Because they know that they're not going back as a head coach. Because I think Belichick has had this quote when someone asked him why he's not taking another NFL head coaching job. And he's like, they want young and cheap, and I'm neither.
Yeah.
So he's out.
Pretty much.
And now he can say what he wants. That's the thing I love about Brian Belichick.
Yeah.
Besides the whole 98 Vikings connection, which we will not speak of.
Well, we won't go there. Well, who else do we think is going to be out at the end of the season then? I mean, I think Philbin has a good shot.
Yeah, I think Philbin's been kind of on the way out. And plus, if Harbaugh comes back on the market, I don't think Stephen Ross will let him slip out of his grasp twice. I think even if it takes draft picks, he'll sell out to try and get Harbaugh.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Whatever it takes.
And randomly, I think a couple of the first-year head coaches actually might be in.
Like who? Gus? No, Gus is the second year. Sorry, but still.
Gus is the second year, but if the Jaguars go 0-16, I know Shad Khan and David Caldwell have some sort of, well, not Shad Khan, but David Caldwell and Gus Bradley do have ownership, Shad Khan on the side. But if they go 0-16, how can you keep that coaching staff around?
I don't know.
How can you keep that GM in place?
And especially after you saw some promise at the end of last year and then such a downward spiral. It's disturbing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I felt so bad for the Jaguars when they had that game-winning kick blocked.
It would only happen to the Jaguars.
So
it wouldn't only happen to the Jaguars, but it kind of would only happen to the Jaguars versus Tennessee, because Tennessee is equally woeful.
Yeah, and the Jaguars aren't going to be favored in any game for the rest of the season, so it's not outside the realm of possibility that they go 0-16, which is unfortunate.
Poor Jacksonville. Oh, my God. I feel so bad for those people.
But speaking of Tennessee, Ken Whisenhunt.
What's his deal?
I don't know. I never really thought that Ken Whisenhunt was an NFL head coach. He got by in Arizona, living out scholarship because of that Super Bowl appearance, just because of Kurt Warner. But show me a young quarterback he's developed.
Yeah.
He has Sarah.
Right.
Sarah.
I agree.
Yeah, even in Pittsburgh, where he had Mike Tom, Zach, Cordell Stewart / there for a while, and Tommy Maddox.
God, that feels so long ago now that you're saying these names out loud.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was that?
So, had to be 15, 20 years.
Okay, so that was like when the Oilers were still around. Okay.
Love you, Blue.
Love you, Blue. Okay, sorry. You made me tear up a little bit right there. I'm just kidding. I didn't tear up.
So Jacksonville and Tennessee are both just complete bottom feeders. Well, you can pencil them in now to be top 5 picks in the NFL draft, even though Tennessee does have 2 wins. I don't think he's cut off to be a head coach. I think they need to completely reboot yet again. They need to wash Locker out because he's okay when he's healthy, but he's never healthy. So
yeah.
Tennessee, I feel bad. I feel bad for Sharona, but they gotta wipe the slate clean again because Ken Whisenhunt is not the answer.
They just don't know what they're doing in that city in terms of since Jeff Fisher lost his touch and they lost patience, they've been just lost.
Yeah, and the thing about Jeff Fisher, I think he stuck around too long.
Yeah.
Because at some point, 8-8 should not be good enough.
Absolutely.
8-8, 9-7 should not be good enough.
Absolutely. I agree. Totally agree.
And also not good enough, the Buccaneers, Lovie Smith, first-year head coach.
Oh.
I think he might have a quick hook because, they have been feisty. They have been competitive in a handful of games, especially last week when they lost in New Orleans in overtime. But New Orleans is a paper tiger this year.
Okay.
But getting their asses handed to them in 2 games, like Sunday, Ravens, 48-17. Flacco has 5 touchdown passes in 16 minutes of game time. I mean, really? Come on.
Yep.
And then the Atlanta beatdown where they were down 56-0, and it wasn't even that close, ended up being 56-14. It's at some point, if you're not competitive, if they have 2-3 more of these games, no.
Okay, but check it out. Lovie Smith did sign a 5-year, $25 million deal.
Oh, that's a good point. And the Glazers are cheap.
And, well, that too.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a quarterback. He doesn't feel there's enough talent. He switched them to a Tampa 2, which Major Wright? Yeah, Major Wright was saying he played under Lovie in Chicago and said it took him into his second season before he actually felt like it wasn't slowing him down. There have been such major changes. And then also their offensive coordinator, what's his name? Tedford? Is that his name? Tedford? He got
he's not there.
He's not been there on the sidelines to even do anything with the offense. He was supposed to manage the entire offense. He's not there. There are things that are outside of Lovie Smith's control or things that he probably said when he's signing that 5-year contract. This is not an instant fix. This is going to not be overnight. So.
You know what Lovie's mistake was? He hired Leslie Frazier.
Oh.
Now, have I ever explained to you my nickname for Leslie? Butt?
Yes, but.
Yes.
He's a good guy,
Leslie Butt Frazier. Poor Leslie. And, I didn't think about Tedford being out. I think that might have a significant reason why the offense has been kind of not fantastic at all, especially Doug Martin, because that's more fancy football bitterness.
I know. No, I feel you on Doug Martin. I mean, I have him too, and I actually started him this week thinking, okay, well, this will be a game where he can roll over Bears defense. No, nothing. Like 6 points.
Yeah. So Rex Ryan, we both think is gone. I think Lovie Smith might be on the hot seat. I think Wisenhunt might be on the hot seat. And we both agree that Gus Bradley, come on. You got to show some sign of life. There has to be some proof of life.
And Philbin.
I think Philbin might be all right.
Why?
I think he might be all right because they're bringing in that new offense with Bill Lazor from Philadelphia. Lazor. We'll see. But like I said, Stephen Ross has a hard on for Harbaugh. So
yeah,
who knows what's going to happen there. And who knows what's going to happen with us, but we will be into a break. We're going to travel the world, and we'll BRB Claire versus Carlson show back in a second.
Woohoo.
And coming back from the break, just hit halftime, and again, we have too much show to jam into these 2 hours, per usual. No, it's
2 whole hours, and we can't make it concise.
It's just because
enough.
You're so interesting, Claire.
That's it. I'm just super duper intriguing.
I have my fingers crossed, everybody.
Didn't even mean it.
Right. But back in the NFL, real quick, the Miracle covers, which is very near and dear to my heart because I'm a bit of a mild degenerate. It's very responsible adult entertainment, but not involving strippers. But I had Denver -8, and I also had Arizona -3.5 in those games. And if you recall, the Denver won first. Denver's leading the Jets 24-17, less than a minute to play. I just started inside their own 5-yard line, and I was like, well, crap. I'm going to lose this because even if the Broncos get the ball back, they're just going to kneel on it, and they'll win by 7, and I had Denver -8, so poo-poo. But
by 50 cents.
Geno Smith, baby. On first down, he almost throws a pick right into Von Miller's grill, Texas A&M alum. Hello.
I know who Von Miller is.
On second down, Geno almost gets sacked for a safety. Debatably, I think he was in the end zone. I don't think there was forward progress at all. And then on third down, Geno Smith, pick 6 to Khalib.
I love that guy. He is so explosive. I love that guy.
And, the thing of it was, Talib picked him off, I think it was at like the 25-yard line. Now, any smart NFL player would have just got down, just kneeled on it, and let Peyton come in and run out the clock. But no, Aqib Talib, it's not in his personality. If he can pad his stats so he can get that up for the next contract negotiation, he's gonna. So he gets up and gets into the end zone for the pick 6 and the backdoor Cover baby.
Yay for you. So are you going to like go buy me stuff now?
I don't know.